I played Gilly's song for one of the top executives. At first, they weren't as sold as I was. Then I told them my plan. Listen, I don't think it makes sense to put Gilly on G-Unit, I explained. I didn't know if his sound would mesh with what we were doing at the time. But if you guys sign him, I'll give the project my full support. I'll put the battery in his pack. The executive said, okay, that changes things. Let's do it. If I co-signed it, they knew it was going to sell. We sent word back to Gilly that there was a deal on the table at Interscope. I forgot how much they were offering, but I remember it being fair. Evidently, Gilly didn't see it the same way. Nah, fuck that, he replied when Kev told him the number. They got to give me $1 million to sign. I was surprised at his response, but out of respect for Kev, I went back and told the execs what he wanted. They felt it was way out of line for someone without much of a track record. They were willing to bring him on, but not for $1 million outright. Gilly wouldn't budge. People tried to talk to him, telling him that there was momentum he needed to harness. But he had his mind set on that $1 million. And when Interscope wouldn't give it to him, he passed on the deal. It was an ill mistake. His error was he allowed himself to get in a zone where it was all about the money. His vision was too limited. Another factor was his environment. Philly is a big enough city, but its rapper community is pretty small. Everyone knows what the other guy's doing. Gilly probably heard what Beanie Siegel had signed for or what Philly's Most Wanted had gotten, and figured he had to hold out to be in the same league. It was the wrong way to assess the deal. Instead of focusing on what the next man got, he should have focused on the larger opportunity, which was having me get behind this project. With all my momentum, I could have given him the heat he needed and then some. I have zero doubt that with my cosign, Gilly would have ended up making way more than $1 million from Interscope. Instead, he signed somewhere else, and several years later released an album that didn't get the proper support or attention. That was pretty much it. He never had his moment despite his proven skills. Today, Gilly's a respected OG on the Philly scene and has a popular podcast, but he never experienced the level of success he should have as a rapper. Focus on the potential, not the payday. When we look back at how I evaluated the Eminem deal, notice all the positives I focused on. Elite talent to work with, a lack of internal competition, and access to a new fan base. Now notice what I didn't mention. Money. I knew whatever number we agreed on would ultimately be irrelevant compared to what I would earn long term with the proper plan in place. My signing bonus for Shady Records was only $1 million. But I ended up earning so much money off that deal, the signing bonus is almost irrelevant. It might sound counterintuitive, especially in a chapter titled Know Your Value. But the first check you receive should never be your biggest concern. Always focus on the long-term potential.
Say, the fighters now, Don, that you're a great promoter, not the greatest businessman in the world. When the television money doesn't come through, you have to force the fighters to take a cut. But they also add, when there's a big profit to be made, they never see any extra money coming their way. What about that?
Roy, now, Roy. You must understand that I couldn't even get to the television when I came. You must understand I'm a pioneer and a trailblazer. And so I must be able to deal with whatever unforeseeable contingency arises, whether it comes from behind a tree or under a rock. I must be able to deal with it extemporaneously and deal with it pragmatically and realistically. When I came into the boxing world, they didn't let Mavericks in. They didn't particularly care for white Mavericks, but they didn't let black ones through the portals to the arena. So now I had to go around the world. You have to recall this. Now, before I ever promoted in America, I was promoting in the Thrill in Manila, the Rumble in the Jungle, you know, and in Caracas, Venezuela, I opened up the Poliedro. So I bought the Prodigal Son returned home by acclaim because all the major events was going to other countries. So therefore, they then let me come home to promote. So I didn't have television then. I was doing it from out there, from governments and from relationships with people all around the world. Now when I come in with television, what a person believes he's worth and what the deal is two different things. Mm-hmm. Many fighters have inflated beliefs of their worth, and so they say, you got a cut. The cut means that I have given them what reality pragmatically indicates and dictates, and what they had in their mind was a higher figure. So in their mind, they say it was a cut. I have never cut any fighter. You know what I mean? So it's a difference in what they're thinking. If they say, give me $10 million, I say, well, I can't give you but $5. I'm going to do it for you, but you cut me $5 million.
Mm-hmm.
So those kind of things go, and that's pervasive in our business, and I understand that. They're great athletes, and I'd love to promote them. And then I revolutionized the pay scale in boxing. I pay fighters more money than anyone in the history of the sport.
That is a true fact.
You know what I mean?
That has been documented.
So only thing I could be guilty of is hitting them in the head with $100 bills, giving them dignity, pride, and a lot of money. So now whatever it is more than what they could get from any adversary of mine. Otherwise, they wouldn't be with me.
Recognizing opportunity when you see it, and you do have control over that. And lots of times those opportunities weren't paying opportunities, right? You weren't getting paid. Somebody says, hey man, I got a gig at this club, and it's, whatever we get at the door, that's going to be our pay. We might not make anything. And I had a knack for taking gigs that led to other situations, And I think that's when I talk to young musicians, when I observe young musicians, I can tell the guys who have that knack and the guys who just for some reason don't get it. They can't figure out how to make this connect with this.